All right, let's go live in sound and vision on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Circuit of the Americas. Just a few moments late because of the overrun of the last event here. But if you are joining us either on IMSA Radio, live in sound and vision, IMSA TV, or on the new YouTube page for Porsche Motorsport, it's good to have your company. We're at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, just outside of Austin, 3.4 miles and 20 corners, actually. It's a fantastic track. I've been very lucky to race here in a 24-hour race. Climb up to turn 1, dive down through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down to turn 11, and then the long back straight to 12, and then the nudgy bit, the really technical bit as well, to the end of the track. Fantastic stuff. Thank you for a brilliant race in race 1, where we started effectively behind the safety car, actually, because things were a little bit chilly this morning, and it looks like we're going straight to a green flag now. No time to give you very much other than the front part of the grid, which has Seb Priaulx and Riley Dickinson on pole position. Seb Priaulx on the inside in the half-coloured cars to driver's left. Then it's Parker Thompson and Kai van Berlo behind, the red and white and the green and white car. And then on row 3, it's going to be Dylan Murray and Lee Keane in the 12 all-red car. And then Eric Johnson and Sebastian Carrera in the bright highlighter yellow. It's a long run down to the green flag, and we're about to go green. Green flag is in the... Oh, little break from Kai van Berlo. He might get a penalty for that. Straight down the inside. Riley Dickinson into turn 1. That's plus 90 to really tight corner, and so difficult to get it right. Van Berlo off the track and back on again. He comes up back on in second position, right in the middle of the map. And the pack is Matt Holcomb from Goldcrest Motorsport leading in the 991 category car. The cars at the front are the new 992 Cup cars with the new bodywork, the new body shape, and a few more horsepower as well. That's a phenomenal getaway from Priaulx, and Priaulx has done exactly what Van Berlo did last time around. Van Berlo with Dickinson right in behind him. Then it's Keane, the bright red car, as they head through turn 10. Well, a little bit of a ragged start there, Jeremy Shaw, but the good news for the pole man from Guernsey, the Channel Islander, in between the UK and France, Seb Priaulx, third generation racer. He's cleared off, he's gone, man, he's gone.
Yeah, he has, and he's taken full advantage there. Kai van Berlo spending more time off the racetrack than on it on the first half of this lap. He did the same in the opening race. He got away with it then because of the conditions. The drivers were told, track limits is an issue here. Well, it clearly wasn't in the first race, and it clearly isn't here in the first part of the second race either. Van Berlo takes full advantage, gets up into second position, and there is Lee Keane muscling his way up to third place just now ahead of Riley Dickinson, the local driver. Those two side by side as they head down towards turn 15.
Looks like a completely different part of the planet and season and everything from what we had this morning, when visibility was compromised, when grip was compromised because it was foggy, it was damp, it was horrible. Side by side through 16, 17 and 18. That's the part of the circuit, that long right-hander that destroys the left-hand side tyres. They're all off the track there at 19. That'll be being looked at. Track limits there is an issue. You do get don't let anybody tell you don't get an advantage there. Trust me, you can make up 6-7 tenths of a second there by taking more speed through turn 17. I know I've had laps discounted from doing that. The way to get round 19 is to hook your inside Michelin tyres over the inside sausage curb and let that straighten you up. That bright green car going well off the track there, but gets back on just about through the S's. But out the front, Priaulx by 2.5 seconds. Brilliant start by young Seb Priaulx.
Yeah, he did the job perfectly there. Defended the inside line at turn one, did Priaulx pretty stoutly, and was able to maintain that advantage, particularly with Van Berlo slewing around from one side of the racetrack to the other and often back on again. He's able to, Priaulx able to extend that advantage. A really good first lap for him. Fully 2.5 seconds clear of the second place car at the end of the first lap. Seb Priaulx is going to be hard to catch.
He's a speck in the distance at the moment from Kai van Berlo, his Kelly Moss Road and race teammate. Seb Priaulx, a driver who is being looked after, I would say, by Multimatic. He's contracted to Multimatic, that huge engineering and racing firm up in Canada, and very well thought of. Already done some races in other parts of the IMSA calendar. Got the four-way flashes going on there from the number 17 Kurt Swearingen ACI Motorsport car. I think he's just hit that by accident. I don't think there's anything wrong. Meantime, at the front of the field, it is young Sebastian Priaulx laying down some Michelin rubber there through 18, excuse me, and really leaning on the back tyres in that Multimatic sponsored car. Multimatic, as I say, looking after him, and very well thought of. That young man has a career in endurance and sports car racing. I would say so does Kai van Berlo in second, and Riley Dickinson in third. They are 3 junior drivers, Jeremy, and that's a new component to the Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands. The first year of a Carrera Cup North America in history, and that junior component brand new.
Yeah, it is, and it's a tremendous opportunity for these young drivers. There's a real carrot there for the end of the season for these guys to potentially become factory drivers down the road. That's what they're all aiming at, and there's a very, very talented crop of drivers with that very much in their sights. A new fastest lap there for, it was Kai van Berlo who was the quickest on that last lap at 2 minutes 9.436. That's already 6 seconds quicker than they managed this morning in those drying conditions, but still the gap from first to second remains over 2 seconds.
Still round about a second and a half or so away from what we saw, maybe a little bit more actually than what we saw in perfect conditions in practice on whatever day that was now, Friday I suppose it was, wasn't it? There's the McKenna Porsche further down the field, going through onto that long, slightly curving and certainly up and down back straight. Further up the field, Lee Keane has got Sebastian Carrazzo right up his tailpipes into turn 12. Tricky downhill braking area, and the Porsches don't like it there. Any kind of Porsches, and I've seen GT Daytona Porsches there really struggle to get their braking right to the situation whereby a badly driven GT4 car can outbrake them, actually, because it is so difficult to get the weight transfer going forward on these Porsches with the racers at the back. Metney in the iFly GT silver car. Right behind him is Maxwell Root in the number 7 car. Wright Motorsport and Mo Speed together with that car. He's another one of the juniors. Started rather further down the field in the first race, Jeremy, because we had no qualifying here. So we started the first race not exactly how, and particularly for Maxwell Root, that disadvantaged him because he'd been in the top 6 or so in terms of his lap speed, but that's not where he started.
That's right. I had to start from the back. The qualifying yesterday was rained. That was a spin there for, was that Lee Keane? I think it was.
No, I think it was the other 911 car. It was the other 311. Yeah, it was Ryan Cates in that car.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, and turn 9 happens to everybody.
Got on the power a little bit too quickly coming out of that corner. Was that turn 1? Sure. Anyhow, he spins it around and gets going again. So the qualifying was rained out yesterday. The grid was set by the championship position. As you say, Maxwell has a terrible time at Sebring first time out, really unfortunate. So he had to start way back. In fact, he really didn't make much progress at all. But at least now he's a bit closer to the front for this second race. The big loser between morning and this afternoon was Tom Collingwood, who drove a brilliant race this morning. He was the only one on wet weather tyres, took full advantage of that to finish just outside the top 10 overall. Was the first place finisher in the Pro-Am class. Unfortunately, in post-race technical inspection, the rear cameras that car were out of spec. That car was put to the back of the field. Jack Collingwood did that mean on 9 at the start at the back.
Yeah, and that's really hurt his opportunity, but he'll fight his way through. As Jeremy said, it was a fantastic run. Camber being how much angle there is on the suspension setup, generally thought the more you dial in, the better the car will work to a point. You've got to be careful not to work the inside shoulders of the tyres on any car, and in most spec series, and albeit this is a very high specification spec series and high performance spec series, you have to look a little bit carefully at what's going on, and you do have a maximum amount of camber that you can set in. That's specified, mandated in the setup sheets, and that's what Collingwood and the BGP team fell foul of this morning. He's in 22nd at the moment, 4th, check that, 5th in his class, and so he's going to have to fight his way through. Priaulx then by a second and a half, because Kai van Berlo's just put the fastest lap of the race in. We're down to 2:08.7, much quicker than we saw this morning, but full dry track at the Circuit of the Americas. The two Kelly Moss Road and Race drivers then pushing on, and that's about a second taken out of the leader by Van Berlo last time around. Dickinson still in third. He's 6 seconds further back, mate. That's 6.5, and a couple of seconds ahead of Parker Thompson in 4th position. Decent battles all the way down the field. 10 minutes already gone by. Pro-Am leader, the silver number 99, Alan Metley for the iFly Kelly Moss team in 11th, and Matt Holcomb in that multicoloured car, the number 55, just sitting in behind the 311 RS machine. So Holcomb in the 55, 16th overall, and leads the 991 class. That is for the older category cars. Still very beautiful, still very quick, but with the older body shell. The Porsche 911 has been through 7 iterations to the 992, and remember, Porsches, it's 911. 911 is the model number. The type is how far through you get. So it's always 911, 964, 917, 928. The type numbers 991, 992. And these are 992 Cup cars. It's the new car. All of the 992 street cars have the wide body. And as far as the 992s are concerned in the street, 20-inch wheels on the front, 21s at the back. These cars are running the 18-inch race rims and Michelin race rubber, new for this year. But new aero, new body kit, lots of things for the drivers to get used to, and the teams, including far more aerodynamic adjustment, particularly on that rear wing. 11 different positions on that swan neck rear wing, which is carried over onto the new GT3 version of the 992, announced recently, the street car, which is absolutely the same body shell as the cars that are out here now. So for £127,000 in the UK, although there's 15 people for every car apparently at the moment, as I know to my cost, you can get a car that is exactly the same in terms of its body shell and the double wishbone front suspension, which is brand new on a 911, as this car. 32 minutes to go, Jeremy, and that lead is coming down. Van Berlo is target acquired, on Sebastian Priaulx. Further back down the field, Eric Johansson for MRS GT leads the battle for 6th.
Yeah, good start by Eric Johansson. Been a good weekend for him. He's done a really nice job. He started in he made up 5 positions in the first race, and he's now running well here. He's holding off that train of cars, Sebastian Priaulx, TJ Fisher and Dylan Murray, all in a train behind him. That is the best battle on the racetrack at the moment, and I think all of them are actually inching a little bit closer to Lee Keane in that bright red number 12 car for 311 RS Motorsports as well as they head up the hill to turn 1.
Lots of names that we've been used to seeing here, Jeremy, in Porsche Cup racing on the IMSA package in the past. Kelly Moss Road and Race, JDX, Mo Speed, Top Racing. But 311 RS, that's a new one for this year, but not new to motor racing.
No, they've been running cars for the last several years, mainly in Time Attack and things like that. Although last season, Ryan Gates, who's the team principal there at 311 RS, he also ran in the SRO series in the GT2 Porsche, in the, I think it's called the Club Sport series or whatever.
Yes,
there weren't many cars. There weren't many cars, but he got himself some good experience, raced on a whole bunch of different tracks, including here at Circuit of the Americas. So it's a good experience for him. But now, he and the team stepping up into much more intense competition in this Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands. Is a big step up for the team. And to help with that transition, Lee Keane, or Lehman Keane, who's a massively experienced in these sorts of cars, he's been working as a driver coach with Ryan and that team for the last several years. He's driving the other car and giving a very good account of himself in the 5th position right now.
Heading down to turn 11, a decent battle led by Frank Razo in the number 56. That's another one of the 991 category cars. Behind him is the 29, and that's the Goldcrest car. That's another 991. Then Tom Collingwood, who had to start at the back for BGB. Now look at that green and black car. You will see, forget about the livery, but look at the difference. Look how the rear wing is mounted. Look at the bodywork differences on that number 69 car, the 3rd of the 3 cars heading into the infield section now. Different rear end, different rear spoiler, different bodywork. If you look at it, it looks just a tiny little bit bigger all the way around. It looks like a 911 that's been to the gym and is rather on steroids. Kind of what it is, actually. And that is the brand new body shape there, sitting in behind the number 29 as they go round towards the end of the lap. Down the inside, it's at 19. No, not quite. Nice line there, and almost stays in bounds. Down to 20. Oh, late dive on the inside by Collingwood. That's a lovely manoeuvre. Now, the Pro cars this year at the front of the field do have the ABS, of course. So, use that to his advantage there. Nicely done. And that's a position made, but not in class for the BGB Motorsport number 69. So, sits in 20th position, but still 5th in his class of Pro-Am.
Yeah, making his way past Jeff Myshak there, who's running 3rd place in the 991 category. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field.
Hello.
Yes, Seb Priaulx has company right now. Every lap, in fact, Kai van Berlo has been a little bit quicker than Seb Priaulx. Last lap around for the race leader was a 2 minutes 10.0. Just a tenth of a second quicker though than Van Berlo last time around. I think Priaulx at this stage in the race, he knows it's 45 minutes, he knows it's a longish race, and he needs to make sure he doesn't burn off these Michelin tyres too much too soon. So make sure he's got plenty of rubber left to fight the battle in the later stages of this race.
You make a good point there, Mr. Shaw, because you start off with a full tank of racing fuel here, and the Michelin tyres are great, but obviously you have the choice, don't you? You can go out hell for leather at the start of the race. You potentially then could burn off all of the performance of your Michelin tyres. You can also play around with the settings a little bit. Where do you make the car at its best? At the beginning and try and get the gap? Or do you live with a little bit of perhaps compromise when the car is heavier with all that racing fuel at the beginning of the race, and hopefully have a car that's good at the end that still has some tyre performance left. That's the little bit of talk that you've got to have with your team. And in some respects, really, what we're looking at here, isn't it, is a stint, is a fuel run in an endurance race, round about 45, 50 minutes. We were looking at the WRC at Spa at the weekend, and the GT Le Mans cars, the next version up perhaps to these Porsches, they were running for just over 50 minutes. So what we're seeing here, Jeremy, is these drivers, particularly the young drivers at the front of the field, they're having to learn how to manage what they've got underneath them.
They are, and they're doing a good job as well. Priaulx running nice consistent laps there. To its 9.91 last time round. So each of his last, 6 laps, 5 laps have been within 0.2 of a second. On a 3.5 mile racetrack, 3.4 miles around here, that's good, nice consistency. That's exactly what you want to see, particularly from a young driver at this stage in the race when he's holding the lead. He's got to make sure he doesn't look.
Oh, change in the lead.
Oh, there has been a change.
Change in the lead. Kai van Berlo's gone through on Sebastian Priaulx. So that was coming through the infield at the end of the back straight after turn 12, I think. And Van Berlo in the white and green car. They're both Kelly Moss Road and race. So these nominally are teammates, but let's be honest, Jeremy, it's every man for himself at the front of the field. And the number 3 car, end of the back straight, down the inside. Off the track though there, Jeremy, on the green. Now, if that was MotoGP on the green, you'd have got track limits for that. That was on the ragged edge there, I think.
Yeah. I think you're allowed to go on the green there, but he's certainly going to pay attention. I mean, Van Berlo this morning and this afternoon, he spent more time off the racetrack than on it, quite frankly. And in various other series, certainly Formula One, he would have probably been black flagged by now, let alone time penalties, because he shortcut the S's several times. And he's taking all the liberties here, but that's what you've got to do. It's so competitive here at the front. These two, as you say, they're teammates at Kelly Moss Road and Race, and Jeff Stone is just loving working with these two young drivers, and Sebastian Carrera as well, the youngster from Puerto Rico, who's really benefiting from the experience that these two youngsters have, or the speed these two other youngsters have joining that Kelly Moss Road and Race team. Sebastian's not quite with at their pace at the moment. He's not too far behind. And Carrara is running in 7th place in that big battle, along with Eric Johansson and Max Root, who did find his way past TJ Fisher last time around.
Yeah, 20 seconds or so further back. Carrara in that highlighted yellow car. Down the back straight, which has a slight curve and a couple of rises and falls, into turn 12, pick your braking point. One of the things that is difficult here, not for these career drivers, they'll get used to it very quickly, there's an awful big gap between the side of the track and anything else. And if you notice, there are no brake markers at the side of the track. That's because on that back stretch down towards turn 12, they're on the fence. And that's a very long way to the right-hand side. And I can tell you, it's bad enough in the daytime, but in nighttime, when you're racing in the dark here, they are difficult to pick out. And basically, you've just got to count them as they go past the right-hand air pillar. Both of them off the track again, down through 19 into 20, keeping an eye on that, halfway through the race exactly, as we come round to complete another lap, and they start their 10th lap here at the Circuit of the Americas, second round of the weekend for the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by the Cayman Islands, racing for the championship, racing for these two at least the chance to have a fully funded Mobil 1 Super Cup season next year. Thanks very much to Porsche for that, and the opportunity to become a Porsche Works driver, that's very much on the cards for drivers who do well in that test. All of the Carrera Cup junior drivers, best of the junior drivers from around the world, are brought together in Europe in November time, late November time, for a shootout. And in addition, thanks to our title sponsors the Cayman Islands. The 3 winners in category, the Pro-Am and the 991 category, will all be going to the Cayman Islands for an all expenses paid, top quality, luxury 5-day break. +1, of course. And I'm told the commentary team as well are going, Jeremy, so I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
We've got to go and look after them, apparently, and talk about everything they do. Problem is this for the number 55. This is the leader in the 991 category. No, this is just Matt Holcomb doing what he did in the first race. He had a fairly solitary race this morning, Jeremy, and he's having a fairly boring solitary race right now, but he'll be loving this because he's out in front in that 991 category by a decent margin.
Yeah, and he ended up beating all of the 992 Pro-Am cars in that first race this morning. He was behind Tom Collingwood, but unfortunately Tom was put to the back after the end of the race. But it was a really fine performance there by Matt Holcomb. He's just done an excellent job. He's 48 years of age. He's from Dallas, Georgia, not Dallas, Texas. He's a landscape gardener by trade, and he started racing or driving a track day car just 2 or 3 years ago, then bought a 991 car from the UK actually last year. And that is the car that Matt Holcomb is driving right now.
Porsche Carrera Cup UK has 1 more year of 991. They don't get them this year. The Carrera Cup North America was the competition debut at Sebring of this new shape car. Then we've had Carrera Cup Deutschland and Benelux at the weekend, both at Spa actually, supporting the WEC. Next weekend it's Carrera Cup Asia, which will start with the 992 Cup cars as well. How good are they? I'll tell you how good they are. They were running GT Daytona times in their test at Sebring earlier on in the year. And in fact, we've just had a GT3 race here at COTA, and we are a matter of a couple of tenths away from the full GT3 cars that were running around here in the SRO series earlier on. That's how quick these new 992s are. We're waiting, of course, to see the GT3 Formula version of these cars. This is a Cup car. The GT3R Porsche will be the global GT3 Formula, but these Carrera Cup 992s are very, very quick indeed. Big dive down the inside by Maxwell Root, down into 12. Makes that downhill braking area look very, very easy indeed. I can tell you it's not. And where he came from, down the inside there, that is not the preferred line. That was masterful there as he went down the inside of Seb Carrazzo and took 7th place, Jeremy.
Yeah, he lost a place, lost a few places in the early stages of the race. Maxwell Root, he's moved his way nicely up now. As you say, his latest victory there up into 7th and past Carrazzo. He passed TJ Fisher a few laps before that. He passed Dylan Murray before that as well. So there's been a good charge here for Max Root in that Moore Speed / Wright Motorsports entry. The two long-time teams in the GT3 Cup Challenge Series, Moore Speed, David Moore, based right here in Austin, Texas, and John Wright of Wright Motorsports. They put their heads together to run this car for Maxwell Root, who of course won this the GT3 Cup Championship a couple of years ago for the he finished second in the championship, didn't he, a couple of years ago for Wright Motorsports, and he's doing a really nice job now.
WEC weekend at Spa. I think I said WRC. I did that at the same at Spa when I was doing the commentary on that as well. Thanks, Alan Prosser, for that. IMSA Radio, IMSA TV, and all of our syndications together. Every Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands race this season. Live, free, no blocks, no breaks. Good to have your company wherever you are this Sunday. Very close racing indeed. Carrazzo right up the tailpipes of Root as they head down to turn 11. That's not an easy braking area either, although it does actually go slightly back uphill before you turn into the left-hander at turn 11 and head onto the back straight. Then up the hill, over the brow, down a little dip, back up the brow and then down into turn 12. Lee Keane in the bright red car leading that group at the moment, with Eric Johansson for MRS GT, then Root, Carrazzo, TJ Fisher right in there as well in the second of the silver cars. At the front of the field, making his bid for freedom, Kai van Berlo for Kelly Moss Road and Race, comes out of turn 18 into 19, stays just about in bounds as he comes down the hill to turn 20 and clicks off another lap. And Priaulx does not have anything at the moment for Van Berlo. 2:08.7, his fastest lap, and the lead now 2.1 seconds, Jeremy.
Yeah, that was a really good lap there by Kai van Berlo. The previous lap had been a 2 minutes 11.1. He had been running sort of mid to low 10s. I think the previous lap he must have had a bit of a bobble somewhere, because it cost him about 3/4 of a second, and that allowed Sebastian Priaulx to maintain pace with him. But on this last lap, another clean one for Van Berlo, 2 minutes 10.4, that's what he'd been running before, and he's able to pull out about 3/4 of a second more to extend that gap now to Priaulx to over 2 seconds. Now looking back down into third position, quite a long way back still, is Riley Dickinson in car number 53. That is the Team Hardpoint EBM Earl Bamber Motorsports entry, and he is closing the gap to Priaulx on that last lap by about a half a second. The third place car quicker than the second placed car.
And we've still got well over 15 minutes to go at the moment. iFly, number 99, Alan Metney in 11th at the moment, leads the Pro-Am as he comes to the rise through 8 all the way off the track on the left hand side there. All 4 Michelin tyres behind the curb. He'd be getting looked at for that. Oh, he's off the track again, isn't he? There. But that red paint actually has a lot of grip, an awful lot of grip. Surprisingly large amount of grip. I remember talking to Jamie Campbell-Walter about that when I raced there a couple of years ago in the 24. That is the right line there, and you can see that it's very much rubbered up. Oh, spin for the number 11 again. And that's, I think, the second time that Ryan Gates has been around in the 311 RS Motorsport bright red 992 Cup car. Just eventually, however good the suspension engineers at Weissach and Porsche Motorsport and the tyre engineers at Michelin are, eventually, Jeremy, the laws of physics take over.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They do, and around that car goes, but he's able to get going again. I'm not sure he actually lost a position on that lap. Actually, have to wait till he comes round. But once again on this last lap, Kai van Berlo, the 20-year-old from the Netherlands but lives now in Miami, Florida, where he attends university, is extending his lead again by 3/4 of a second on that last lap over Priaulx. Riley Dickinson, he again was about 2 or 3 tenths of a second quicker than Priaulx, who was running in second place, but still he's got a lot of ground to make up. And Parker Thompson, this morning's winner, is hanging in there in the 4th position.
Another good run by Matt Holcomb for Goldcrest Motorsport in the green fronted, but with the blue and orange, kind of like a new take on the hippie colours of the old 917, isn't it, really? But it's in that satin paint finish, which seems to be all the rage at the moment, very much on point. I noticed a huge amount of drivers at the Monaco Historic had their helmets done in that satin or matte finish, and that's a good looking car for Matt Holcomb, and he's sitting in 19th position but leads by about 9 seconds from 2 Goldcrest Motorsport compatriots as far as the 991 category is concerned. And those older, the previous iteration, previous generation 991s, they have to be the Gen 2 cars, the later versions of those cars. They have got their own championship for this year only, and that is a championship in its own right. Meantime, at the end of the back straight, Lee Keane right off again on the exit of turn 12, and he's been closed down on now, I reckon, by Eric Johansson and by Max Root, who are right with him now in the 2 GT silver cars. Then it's the bright yellow Kelly Moss Road and Race, That's Sebastian Carrera. He likes the number 27. He's raced that for a while. And then Dylan Murray for BGB, who had a decent run in the first race, sitting in 10th here. He'll want to improve in that car. At the back of that, it's red and silver and blue at the back.
No, that's...
Oh, no, sorry, that's TJ. It's
that's
TJ Fisher.
Yeah, Dylan Murray's
Excuse
fallen
me.
off the back of that.
Yes, he has.
But this is the battle of the race right now, no question about it, with Lee Keen now really coming under pressure from Eric Johansson. And Max Root, we've seen him charging up the order. Sebastian Carrera, a former Gold Cup champion, of course, in the GT3 Cup Series. He's working as hard as he can to stay ahead of TJ Fisher, who's another of the talented youngsters in this field.
So coming down to the last 10 minutes, we're about a minute and a half away from Berlo by over 4 seconds now. Call it 4.5 at the last split from his Kenlimos Road and Race teammate Sebastian Priaulx. Then there's about another 5 seconds to Riley Dickinson, then Thompson, then Lee Keen in that bright red number 12, then the battle that we're keeping an eye on here. And Max Root is under real pressure from Carrera as he comes over the top of the brow at turn 9. Easy to lose the back end of the car there. You get light. That's why you're off the track there. You're trying to straighten that out. You want to have as little turn on your steering wheel, as little lock on your steering wheel as possible as you come over the top of there, because you are hard on the throttle from the moment you get the car straight from turn 8 right over the top. And if you hit the torque band, if you hit the way the engine kicks in, it's very easy to spin up the rear wheels there as you go light and have a huge moment. And trust me, it's quick there as well. Carrera having to defend a little bit. No, he keeps his line in that bright yellow car from TJ Fisher for Top Racing in 9th position. This is getting very interesting indeed. So close, Jeremy. Proves, even though these cars are quite a bit faster than we've seen in the previous Cup categories with the previous iteration of the cars, it's still just as difficult to get by because it comes down to the driver.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That's what this series is so good, and this battle is just tremendous between these 5 cars here, covered by maybe 2 seconds at the very, very most. And it's Lee Keen, we saw in the opening race, started off strong this morning in the damp conditions, but in the dry, he fell back towards the end of the race this morning, did Lee Keen. But in this race now, he's running a good, consistent pace, and he's managing to stay ahead of that battle. What we just saw there was a shot of Parker Thompson, who's running in the 4th position, pretty lonely 4th place now for this morning's winner, lapping the 991 car of Joe Still.
Yeah, I do like the look of these cars. I really do. Porsche have turned out another great racing car. They've been doing this for more than 3 decades now in the Carrera Cup. 20 years since they went to as a street car manufacturer to the Far East. 18 years for the Carrera Cup in Asia, and the first year of Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands. It's been a GT3 Cup category before that. Slight differences, although the cars were the same, but the brand new cars this year made their worldwide race debut here in the IMSA Sanction Series at Sebring. Now we're on race number 4 on the year with under 10 minutes to go now. And Parker Thompson in that red and white car in having a good run and has gone through. Riley Dickinson has dropped behind him, so that's a change for 3rd position.
No, that's been the same all the way through, John. Riley Dickinson in 3rd position.
Excuse me,
Parker,
yes.
That's a lap car.
Yeah, that is a lap car, my apologies.
I think it was Mark Thomas, the Canadian driver, making
absolutely right.
his debut in this series, joining the MRS GT racing team for this event.
Yeah, Team Hardpoint in 3rd with Riley Dickinson. Hardpoint EBM for Earl Bamber Motorsport. What a run this has been for Kai van Berlo, Jeremy.
Yeah, seriously impressive. Again, 2 minutes 10.5 last time around. His last several laps, 10.4, 10.4, 10.7, 10.5, 10.5, 2 minutes 10.5, that is. Super consistency from Kai van Berlo, and all of a sudden the gap from first and second now is out to over 6 seconds. Seb Priaulx got absolutely nothing for it. He extended the lead on that last lap by a full second, did Kai van Berlo.
Well, Priaulx's going to take the points here. He's got, 4 seconds or thereabouts on Riley Dickinson for Team Hardpoint ABM Alabama Motorsport. There's no need for him to throw it at the scenery. He's tried to put the pressure on. He can't. It's as simple as that. And that is no disrespect at all to Seb Priaulx. He's had a brilliant start to his Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands season in 2021. As most of these drivers didn't get a lot of time to do testing. There was one test at Sebring before the first round. Seb did do a test in the previous model of the car just to get him used to the vagaries of driving a Porsche 911. Trust me, if you can race a 911, you can probably race anything. But not everybody who can race everything can race a 911. Interestingly, had a long conversation a few years ago with Alan Menu, multiple British touring car champion, and pretty much everything else he ever drove. Couldn't get his head round a 911 race car at all. Just couldn't do it. Didn't make him a bad driver, but they are a little bit different. And these cars are very, very quick indeed. Still leading in 991, Matt Holcomb for Goldcrest Motorsport, and they've got the top 3 at the moment in 991, Jeremy.
Yeah, they have. They come in with a real sledgehammer team. Most of the cars are running for that Goldcrest team, and they run very, very nicely. I think they ran 7 cars at the first race at Sebring a month or 2 ago. Slightly down on numbers a little bit this weekend, but as you said, running 1, 2, 3 at the moment with Matt Holcomb in the lead, Jeff Myshak in second place, and the veteran driver Grady Willingham, who I remember doing the Rolex 24 20 odd years ago at least, probably longer than that.
Don't.
And still, no, look, I love it. He's still doing his racing and still doing a super job. And there's battles all the way through this field. It's really fun to watch. Still, Lee Keen holds on ahead of Eric Johansson. Right behind Johansson is Root, then Carrazzo, then Fisher as well. They pulled away a long way away now from Dylan Murray, and just behind Dylan Murray, by the way, is Sean McAllister, who's just overtaken, I noticed on that last lap, Alan Metney, who leads the Pro-Am category. So Sean McAllister in the second of the JDX cars, his teammate to Parker Thompson. He's running that car, running a different livery this weekend, the Shell top-up livery, back on that car for JDX Racing for Sean McAllister, running just outside the top 10.
And behind Metney, by the way, in 13th. Isn't it great to see the McKenna Porsche livery back again? Such a well-known livery from back in the day. Hutton McKenna for Wright Motorsports in the number 88 car, runs in 12th in class, 13th overall. If you get a chance to see that, that's the white and yellow car. We might see that a wee bit later on. But this battle behind Lee Keen at the moment is very, very close indeed. And Riley Dickinson is closing in on second place as well, as the leader is coming through to turn 18, and the battle for second and third just coming through turn 17 now, 18 and towards 19. That's an interesting battle as Dickinson and Priaulx are together coming to the end of the lap.
Yeah, that's really heating up all of a sudden now. Sebastian Priaulx falling back into the clutches of Riley Dickinson, the local driver from New Braunfels in Texas, just half an hour or so away from the racetrack. He's actually able to stay in his own bed this weekend, is young Riley, and he's got a birthday coming up in just over a week, and it'll be his 19th birthday, for goodness sake.
Stop it. So there is that battle for second position. Turn 1, you drop off the end of the world. Short shift again through turn numbers 2 and 3. The leader already a little bit further up the track and heading into turn 8, all the way off the track to the right hand side, then the left hand side at 9. I noticed the big orange pyramid curbs that are normally there for endurance racing aren't there this weekend, so the liberties can be taken with 2.5 minutes or thereabouts to go. Kai van Berlo for Kelly Moss Road and races on the back straight. Priaulx has just about held his own on Dickinson. Took a little bit out of him in that first sector. That's the battle we need to keep an eye on behind the lead. I don't think, barring any mistake or huge disaster for Van Berlo, that he's going to be in any kind of strife. Priaulx, has he pushed too hard early on? He's probably got one more lap at the end of this one, Jeremy.
Yes.
Might be, it will be one more. White flag this time, I think.
Yeah, 2 minutes to go now. So the best lap time is 2 minutes 10. So yes, it will be white flag this time around for Kai van Berlo, but it is very much game on for second position. And also, by the way, Max Root, we saw him putting the pressure on Johansson. There's been a big shuffle around there because all of a sudden Max Root is at the back of that pack.
Yeah, and Carrazo's gone up a position. TJ Fisher's gone up a position. He's ahead of Carrazo as well.
Both of them got past. Both of them got past Max Root.
Right, so something's gone on there. White flag is out. That signifies one more lap of 3.4 miles, 20 corners for the leader. Kai van Berlo with the fastest lap of the race as well, 2:08.7 to his name. Frank Razo climbs the hill to turn one in that white and blue 991. He's in fourth position for top racing, but now the battle out the top of one, down through two, short shift, get the car balanced before you get into turn three. The little left-hander still leading in Pro-Am, Metney in 12th. He's got no problems at all. There's the McKenna Porsche behind him for Hutton McKenna, but they're not in the same class. So it's really all about second and third at the moment. Priaulx and Dickinson, that's where the interest is as Metney goes to climb the hill at turn one. Metney really impressed me down the, last couple of seasons or so, Jeremy? Hasn't been in motor racing for very long, but he's really learned very quickly. Also a good run again for the number 55, Matt Holcomb for Goldcrest Motorsports. He, in the 55 machine, leads the 991 category. That is a category on its own this year. Meantime, the leader down at the end of the back straight. And, I think the 53's got through. I think Dickinson's through into second at the end of the back straight. Have to check that in a moment. I'm just checking the tracker at the moment. We're on the last lap as the leader Van Berlo in the 3 is coming round to the exit of turn 18, and right in behind him, is it Priaulx or is it Dickinson? There as one on the tracker. White flag for the leader in the 991 category, not too far behind. We should see Van Berlo. It is still Priaulx ahead, but only just. Van Berlo will take round 4 of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands, and Priaulx by just about half a second in second place from Dickinson. Parker Thompson will come through in third, and Parker Thompson comes through in fourth position, 8 seconds further back. Looks like Metney will finish at the front of the 992 Pro-Am category. Lee Keane holds on to 5th from Carrazo in 6th. TJ Fisher in 7th. What's happened to Johansson?
He lost several places on that last lap. Right, Keane, Carrazo, Fisher, Root, all of them got past Johansson on that last lap. So Johansson finishes in 9th place. Alan Metney crosses the line in 12th to take the Pro-Am category and keep his sweep going. He took the win this morning after the DQ, or at least put to the back of Tom Collingwood. So Alan Metney 4 for 4 in the Pro-Am category in this year's Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands.
And the third class winner comes out of the back straight and into the infield for the final time, and this will be a second win on the day for the 991 number 55 Goldcrest Motorsports, Matt Holcomb. Nice for him as well on the year. That gets a couple of good wins and a good points system. Jeremy's quickly doing a bit of arithmetic. I know, I've worked with him so long. I know the pencil is out, and he is working as we watch Matt Holcomb come through to 15 and through to 19. Excuse me. Now that's the way to take 19. Left-hand Michelin's right over the sausage curb, and it rotates the car around the corner. Checkered flag for Holcomb. Beautifully done. Stayed on the track as well. So Van Berlo from Priaulx from Dickinson. That's the podium in the Pro class. Metney from Efren Castro. Kurt Swearing in third. That's the top three in Pro-Am. Holcomb wins the 991 category in beautiful conditions. 2:08.7 your top time. That is a GT3 class time from these Cup class cars. Porsche have got it right again. Jeremy, unofficially, a couple of quick points if you've got them.
Yeah, overall then Sebastian Priaulx, he will maintain his lead now with 97 points to now 90 of Kai van Berlo, so just 7 points between first and second. Parker Thompson, having won this morning, will retain third on 65, so a full race win behind the second place car at this stage, early stage in the season. In Pro-Am, Alan Metney retains his 100% record, so retains his lead therefore over Efren Castro, who finished second again this afternoon. In the Pro-Am 991, Matt Holcomb has won 3 out of 4. He's got a handy lead now over Jeff Myshak, who finished second today, and Grady Willingham in third. They are the top 3 in the points table in 991.
Jeremy Shaw was alongside me, John Hindhoff. We've really enjoyed this. You can't beat flat 6 4-litre engines, can you? 510 horsepower. It's absolutely superb. 4 races of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands are in the books. We've got the rest of the season for you. Wherever you've been watching this, the whole season will be live, free, no blocks, no breaks. You want to see the rest, don't you? Good. Then join Jeremy and me. Thanks to our production team at COTA and at Charlotte, North Carolina. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you at the next one. From us all here at COTA, bye for now.